What's going on, guys? We're up here doing some work, North Creek, New York. We're up here at the Phoenix Inn Hotel. I've been up here for quite a while now. I haven't posted anything in a long time because I've been kind of stuck up here. We took this job, and I think you guys probably saw the last video, but wanted to give you a quick update on some of the stuff that we're doing up here. Some of you guys might find this quite interesting. First thing, we're out here just knocking out projects left and right. So up here, I mean, this place has so many amenities. It's got so much cool stuff to do. The inside of the hotel is absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's 20,000 square feet. It's got a big ballroom. It's got business space. It's got 31 rooms, a full kitchen restaurant, a bar, tons of cool stuff. And unfortunately for us, we joined the crew after it was purchased, and me and the missus are kind of running things up here and trying to rehab everything after the last owner had it for 3 years during COVID. First things first, we're up here. We have this beautiful tennis court up here. You guys, I mean, you can see we've got sodium lights up top there. The problem up here is the ground is kind of moldy and all the overgrowth is everywhere. There is just trees upon bushes and trees. We got nice sodium lights up there hidden inside of the trees. There's a couple of cracks up here, some small stuff. It's got a really nice gate out here, and we're just going through and picking, you know, certain things to try to knock out, and starting a little here, a little there, and hopefully everything's going to converge once it's all finished over the next couple of weeks, and we'll have, you know, something really cool to show. Step one is going through and removing trees. All these bushes, all these stumps around the whole front side of the property. There's tons of trees. These bushes here were all overgrown, and I kind of went through here and started trimming them back. There's sprinkler heads everywhere. I'm talking like 400 sprinkler heads. And the last service record I have of a working sprinkler system is from 2004. So all the way around the whole property, all the way to the street. I mean, it's ridiculous. None of them got removed. So these bushes are getting trimmed back. I cut a lot of this stuff out. We've cut down probably 100 trees and bushes so far, and then another 40, 50 shrubs that were growing in. But these things right here, you can see they're just ugly cedars, and they never got maintained. So all this stuff got overgrown over the last 10, 15 years of neglect. And here we are walking into this whole problem. I'm just trying to fix it all as we can. So there's a few things to take care of. So I'm gonna go over here and show you guys the other thing we're working on right now. We have a in-ground pool and a hot tub. And apparently in its former glory, these used to be the main things, the main attractions here. So this room right here, all these spaces was packed from floor 6 foot up. Just everything was buried in here. There was empty containers, broken equipment, busted skimmers, PVC pieces everywhere. This has 3 pumps in it. It has a heater for the hot tub, obviously. A beautiful new system, filter system rather. One of these is a filter. The other 2 are for the jets and all that fun stuff. The work on some of this stuff is very shoddy. Like down here, I think you can see there's some hot glue around the fittings for the shutoff valves, because hot glue is apparently the way that you're supposed to repair leaky PVC. That's just one of the things. Let's go in there, and I wanted to show you guys some other stuff inside of the pool area. It makes you scratch your head. I mean, all around this entire area here was all trees all the way around. 7 and 12 foot tall cedars and bushes. Go back and watch the last video if you guys want to get some more insight on this. It's been so long since I've uploaded something. I've gotten a lot of comments, messages, emails from a couple of you guys wondering if I got rid of the Eclipse. But I did not get rid of the Eclipse. The Eclipse is alive. It's sitting down at the house. It's gonna come up here. It's gonna live right over there someplace soon. This is our hot tub. It hasn't been running for about a calendar year now. It has a leak in it someplace and is in dire need of some serious paint work, some reseal. Like, this is some of the craftsmanship we got here. We've got a drain on the floor here. It's a piece of a PVC tube sitting on top of a broken drain with a shower base cap in it. And then this stuff that they put on. Ugly backsplash material that's obviously got some sort of iron deposit inside the face of it because it's all rusty now. Our big pool out here that we just had a company come out and open up, for the last couple of seasons now, the people that have been maintaining this pool were, you know, workers that were hired, and they did some very weird stuff out here. I've been out here trying to get this vacuum system going. I've gotten it to run a few times, started some cleanup, started getting all the junk and debris out of it. You'll see here we have a pile of tiles, and if you guys look right here, you can see the whole edge of the tile has been just destroyed. It's all come up, and this beautiful stuff right down here, this red stuff, apparently somebody took some concrete mix and some red paint, mixed them together, and then painted the seam all the way around here. And you see all this gravel and these rocks. All that junk got sucked up into the pool vacuum, and when I was running it was running really slow. So let's go over here and I'll show you our pump house. So down here, I was getting this kind of stuff out of the filter the other day. I was pulling the filter apart and finding it looked like rice at first, and I was only getting about 15 to 20 psi out of the pump. I knew something wasn't right with it. Sure enough, I come in here and I start looking around, and I noticed that everything in here has been kind of cobbed together. It's all been slapped together. None of it has really been maintained since. I mean, we've got some hose clamps on pipes. We've got broken shutoffs with the screw backed out. This is my favorite. Down here at the filter, this ball filter here, it has hot glue and then some sort of paper tape wrapped around it for a leak. And we have plastic to metal to plastic to plastic with a metal nut. Beautiful stuff, guys. I mean, real good quality stuff. So I'm in here. This room also, it was piled from floor to right about here with boxes, busted pool equipment, pool noodles for days that were disintegrating. They were so old. Oh, this room also has a heater in it too. It has a pool heater right here. It does turn on. I hooked it up to a 20-pound propane tank, fire it right up. Love it. Works great. Problem is the flue chimney going up. They disconnected it and they laid it on the floor over there. And the top hat is missing for the top of that unit. Gotta love it. Anyways, I'm in here looking at stuff and I'm trying to figure out why this thing won't work. Why it's only making, 15 psi of pressure at the top when the guys told me it should be making, 35, 45 up here on this. I'm priming the pump and I'm cleaning the basket every other time. And I'm closing and opening the skimmer valves, trying to, make some vacuum and then let the water rush through and hopefully pull whatever's stuck in it out. And it's not working. I keep trying. After about 5-6 attempts, I go in and get this big vacuum pump and I stick the vacuum pump on top of the skimmer holes where the vacuum lines are, and I start pumping in reverse, trying to suck whatever's in the lines out. And I got some pieces that look like rice. This stuff right down here kind of looks like rice. It's glass tiles that have been chopped up and disintegrated and sucked into the pumps. So this is the main pump right here. It's a really strong, good pump. It's relatively new. I turned it on, and I'm closing the valve and opening the valve, and then slowly close it and get some vacuum, and then open the valve and just let the water blast in, and then it would go back to a trickle. It just didn't work for about an hour. Finally, fingers crossed, finally, last couple attempts, I got the clog free, and it filled this basket with probably 3 or 4 pounds of that cement mix that had been just clogged in the lines. It was all smooth, like it had been sitting in there for years. So we got that handled. Now I'm happy. I get to run this pump system. The skimmers can run. Life is good. Well, unfortunately for me, I walked over here to the fuse box. I flipped the pump system on. The pump started to run, and I'm watching the water rush in for the first time. And I'm like, oh, great. Now I can use the vacuum, get some actual suction, and things will be better. Sure enough, it made 55 psi over here on the gauge, and I'm watching, I'm like, wow, that's some good performance. It's getting some pressure through it. And this top line right here splits and blows off, exploded. I mean, it shot the end off here and the end off there. I've got some pieces of it right down here. Oh! So you can see this nut snapped, this nut snapped, this fitting snapped, and there was, more of that paper tape that was wrapped around some of those joints, but it all blew apart and went like a geyser shooting water straight up at my ceiling, which was fun. All the equipment that was in here that was old, all the junk that was in here, we got rid of a lot of it. It was just garbage, keeping garbage for, I don't know why, but anyways, I got a geyser, so I rush over and I shut the electrical panel off. I'm soaked from head to toe. I was hoping that was going to be it. I grabbed all these new fittings, new pieces, cleaned them all off, sanded the ends of the pipe, glued them in nice, prepped it all the way I should, added a nut so I could remove it if I had to without hurting anything, and I fire her up, and with the added pressure from the properly working pump, it starts leaking down here at the 4-inch, it starts leaking at these fittings here, it starts draining water out the bottom of this. So now I'm to the point where it's just so bad, I'm just going to go ahead and rip out everything old and replace all these lines and fittings all the way around this, going back into that joint there and to this T right here. So we're going to take that coupling off in the next few days and just keep working on this stuff, and hopefully we'll be able to fix some more of these systems. Tonight, I had some equipment dropped off. I've only showed you guys the back half of the property and given you, 10 minutes of talking. This whole thing over here has been a nightmare, this pool area. If you guys look, I think you can kind of tell the ground slants downward like this, right? Well, over here, there was cedars all the way along this fence, all the way down, up around that building there, and they were tied into all the electrical in here. These posts for these lights, each one of these posts got tilted in from the roots pulling on it. All the sprinkler lines and heads are destroyed. And we cut all these out. We're left with, I think there was 96 stumps back here that we have to start pulling out. Due to the hump right here in the ground, every time it rains, dirt runs over here, and you can see there's a floor drain in that deck right there. The water runs in there with all the dirt in it and the mud and the leaves and the junk, and it plugs up the floor drains. So back here we have a very large pile of brush. I'm sure you guys have seen this before in your lives when you go to clean up your grandma's yard or your buddy's brand new house and you need to trim stuff, whatever. I guess beforehand they used to drag everything right up here onto the hillside. It was just kind of too far of a reach for us to get all this stuff up there by hand, but we've got a nice little excavator we're going to be using for the next few days. And all around this entire property, if I zoom back out here, there was an old rotten fence that went along the property line here that was all tipped down and busted. This whole hillside was covered with dead trees and branches. There was 7 or 8 foot tall, very beat up looking cedars that grew all the way around this entire perimeter of this gate, around the pool, or not the pool, the hot tub pump house. If we walk up this way, I can show you what our next project is. Stump removal. We have to go around with this excavator. There are also these black hoses that are poking out of the ground here. They're all over the place. These are the old 1992 to I think 2004 was the last service history of the sprinkler system. All of these lines have been cut and plugged. So there's probably, we'll say 400 heads on this whole property. There's heads along this row here. There's heads that wrap around the backside there. There's so many of them that are broken. There's bush sprayers. Like if you look inside of this bush here, you can kind of see a post sticking out right there, that right in the center of the screen. That's a bush watering system. I don't know, it's a sprinkler head, pops up out of the bottom, and that's how she goes. But now we have to work on repairing yet another issue. We were unaware after this building was purchased, the group of investors, nobody knew about some of its smaller issues and some of its larger issues, but we're checking them off the list. We have a hot tub. It's over here. It's on the inside of that. All this whole area was covered in cedars too. There's stumps just everywhere. I ripped them all out, cut them all down. Oh, got a busted sprinkler head. So over here on this side, we're gonna have a 1,000-gallon propane tank installed. And that's because this propane line coming out of the side of this pump house has a split. It runs under the ground, under the concrete, and over to the wall right there where there's a regulator. If I zoom in, you guys can kind of see right there is the setup for it, but that's got an issue. There's a break in it someplace, so it leaks a little bit, and it's been causing a lot of trouble. Anyways, I gotta hop into this big machine here. It's not that big, but we're gonna jump on it, try to get some of these stumps pulled out of here, and just do a little bit of work, hopefully get ahead on some stuff. I'm gonna jump in, play with the controls for a minute, get reacquainted. It's been a while since I've played with a good excavator. Let's get after this. Amount of stumps, and this ground over here is almost cleared out of stumps, so we're going to level it all off and then start with a smaller bucket, run the trench right down through here, and we're just going to push the brush pile back up on the hillside and hide it so we don't have to worry about it anymore.
We're making this look too easy, Jared.
Hey, that machine saved us hours.
Hours saved us days.
Oh,
Weeks.
What are we, like 20 stumps in?
I pulled out 7 yesterday alone. So we're over 20.
Yeah.
Down over there, we hit there was something.
There's huge rocks. Well, boys, it's the next day. We are in the front of the hotel. If you guys do recall on the first upload of the hotel up here, we had just trees upon trees upon trees. I mean, there was trees all over here, more over here, all this whole front. There's a couple of real big ones, a couple of real big ones down that way, tons of those nasty cedar bushes. I just came through here with the excavator and my maintenance guy, and all these stumps, we had to stop right in this little island here, which was also ugly dead bushes because there was a car parked there. But we've ripped up every single one of these stumps all the way down through here and we just pulled them out and left them where they are for now. We're gonna go back through and level out this whole area right across the top, make it nice and smooth, plant some grass. We got the entryway knocked out here. We did all along the front of this building here. There's a bunch of dead electrical, bunch of destroyed sprinkler heads. Went out here by the street side. That excavator works fantastic. I had a ton of cedar bushes around this entryway here, and over here we had a big tree that was sitting in there, and there's some more buried electrical. Gotta love the buried electrical. It's all over the place. They're all dead lines. They're just still sitting there. But anyways, we're gonna go back out back here, and we're gonna keep working on a couple more spots. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I don't know if I wanna come up here and pull the rest of the stumps that are in front of this tennis court, but I'll show you as we get up closer. All these stumps, or all these cedar bushes, were all cut down and left. And they're all dry rotted and just chilling here, so I'm probably gonna clean those off so this is a nice grassy hill, and maybe, I don't know, maybe pull a couple of these bad boys out. But let me show you over here by our pump house. This is where we've been doing a lot of work. Oh God, we've been out here for 9 hours now. But back here, there was a nice big mound, and there was stumps everywhere. There's a hole. We stopped right here because we have our 4-inch lines for our hot tub running over this way, and there's some electrical. We didn't want to hurt anything, so this has to get scooped out and cleaned out. Here, we'll go around the other side. All the stumps and all the crap that were out this way and the dirt, we leveled it out. It's not finished yet because I got to go back over and kind of hit these little edges here. There's some high spots still, but we're going to make this our pad for our propane tank, and we're going to come back in here and probably going to just drive straight through it and plow out, maybe bulldoze out some of the dirt that's back here in an attempt to make it not such a deep grade right here where all the water runs in towards the pool area. So we're going to scoop some of this out. We started digging this trench somewhat by hand, and the rest of it we did with the 12-inch bucket that we hooked up, which does a good job. I like that thing a lot. We got the water going right here. We're heading up the hill, and we're gonna hopefully we'll be able to figure out this pool situation. It's not looking too great. Luckily it holds water, so I mean that's half the battle, I guess you could call it. But the deck, I went around yesterday and did a lot of work chipping away all that mortar mix that was stuffed into the cracks. Never mix paint with mortar. Just don't do it unless you know what you're doing, or I don't think that's the way you should do it ever, actually. So don't even listen to me there. Just don't do it. Let's take a look over here. I'll show you this stuff. So we got the pool basically drained all the way down. It's got another probably 10-12 inches to go at the bottom. But all that crappy mortar, you can see the remains of it that were all along the edges. I went around here with a chisel and a hammer yesterday for about 3 hours and chipped away a lot of it. There is a break right here where the scupper is. This block right here is going to have to get some sort of work done to it. We'll probably just have to chisel out around it and clean it real well, make sure it's nice and dry. And then we're going to go ahead and throw our new compound in there. I'm going to work my way from this side all the way down. So we're going to see how long it takes and how much better she looks once it's all said and done. Guys, I've been out here for a couple of hours now working on this, and as you can tell, I'm just using a garden hose because my cheap electric pressure washer decided to just not turn on. I don't know why they stored it downstairs if it doesn't turn on, but we can get a better look at some of the damage down here. Right in here, we have all these messed up tiles, pretty much all the way across here is going to need rerouted. But look at the steps. I did half the steps on the left, did not do the steps on the right, and then you can see the scum on that side of the pool and the line that I've kind of made. I know it seems a little extreme to drain the whole thing, but obviously with this much tile work, like look at this scupper right here. This thing is just absolutely falling apart. I mean, the structure above is collapsing in, there's concrete gap there. This is going to take some time and a little bit of work before we're ready to refill and reopen. I see a plug sitting in one of the jets here, it's missing a head. I got to pump the rest of this stuff out after I do the other side, but we're making some headway. Hopefully you guys found this satisfying to this point. Well, what's going on, boys? Sorry for the cameras jumping back and forth from different angles and different apertures, blah, blah. Anyways, we're down here still working on our pool. We've done a lot of work on this thing since the last video clip that I recorded. It's been about 10 days or so now, and we're now getting to the painting phase. I'm gonna come down in here and show you guys exactly what we did. We took the pressure washer out. We blasted the whole inside of this thing out real nice. It's pretty cleaned out now. And we chipped away every single one of the glass tiles that was down in here, with the exception of just a little bit inside of the scupper. We still have some more work with the mortar mix to do. We're gonna go in here and chip that out and then smooth all this stuff out. But we filled everything around the top edge. All the tiles were bad. They were just absolutely disgusting. So we've got a lot of the crap out of here. The mortar mix, we used hydraulic cement and went through and sealed this whole gap all the way around. So it's looking really nice. We have to wire in our light that's down here. Probably gonna have to replace the mounts for the ladder on the top side. And as you can see back here, my maintenance guy, he's been out here taping it off and painting it. We're just doing a blue stripe around the top, and then we're gonna repaint the yellow on the upper edge here. We might do it white, I'm not sure yet, but it's looking pretty good. If you go around the sides here, compared to what it was, there's no more flaking off, falling off tiles. It's all been mortar mixed up and sealed and patched, and we're on our way. So the next thing we're gonna have to work on is replacing some of the pump pieces, because the pumps, they've had some issues. The pump basically was full of stuff. Like I said earlier, we fixed a lot of it. Now it's got some leaks because it's making a lot more vacuum and a lot more head pressure. So let's go around out front. We've also got a major update out there, and we're finally starting to see some progress from all of it. Some of it took a little bit longer, some of it went a little bit quicker, but nonetheless, we're knocking projects out left and right, and this place is gonna look good soon. Hopefully all this stuff will also be functional. I gotta drain this back out again, but this is all gonna get painted next, and we're gonna keep chugging along here. Hopefully the month of July, we can open up a lot of this stuff again. So out back here, this is off the back of the ballroom here. This whole patio area had this weird border going around it, these red pavers. And we took that off and cut down all the rest of the crap that was out here. Took another little tree out. We've rebuilt the little wall that was along this edge with pavers, cleaned out all the stuff. There was, I think it was sprinkler pipes for the sprinkler system, 4-inch iron pipe just laying out here in a pile, a bunch of garbage. We had the well replaced, new electronics inside of there and a pump. Out here, we started digging, trying to level this all out after we pulled a bunch of it apart. We got some of the lines ripped out of here. There was tons and tons and tons of sprinkler lines. We have to cut the rest of these black hoses out of here. But we found our propane feed line that goes down through here, and we're gonna get this teed. Instead of putting a 1,000-gallon above tank over here, above ground tank, we're gonna tee it right this way and follow the whole edge of the fence over. Once we get some of the stuff pulled out of here, we're still doing a lot of work, obviously, and we're only halfway through this part of this project. But nonetheless, it's getting done. A little bit of grass seed out here. We got this leveled out nice and clean and flat. There's no more crap out here. There's some final pickup, cleanup stuff we have to do. We have to fix this curb. And then our trench that we dug going down through here has to all get backfilled in once we lay our new propane line in. And that's gonna run over to the pool house there. But over here where the fence was, it's all cleared out. It's all cut down. We saved a ton of bricks that we found that were part of the curb. This whole thing's been pushed back to the edge of the asphalt. We're probably gonna have a company come in here and pull the rest of it out. I really wanna show you guys out front though, because out front was the big project. I'll show you guys a before and after image. I'll insert one right here. All right, so out here, we have another small issue we have to figure out. Well, it's not small, but it's an issue. Down through here, all the water that runs off the gutters and all that and the downspouts comes right down through here and runs right along this edge. And I guess the town, a couple of years ago, under the previous owner, they came out here and tore all this stuff up. And there's some barrier down here, like plastic or something that they put down before they put the sand in here. Poured sidewalk and made it to right here. So we have a pretty large section of sidewalk that's just missing that we have to have taken care of and fixed. There's tons of little plants that have popped up all the way down this whole hedgerow here. Didn't know that stuff even existed, but the main focus is up here. You guys remember in that photo, everything was just overgrown. There was trees, there was miles of Christmas lights stuck in those trees, there was rotted trees covered in mold, whole mess of nastiness. And we've got all of it cleaned out. And if you guys have ever done some landscaping work before, you know it looks really, really bad before it looks better. So out here, all this whole front area, tree stumps and bushes all the way down through here, a couple really large cedars. We had a monster tree right here that was all dead sitting in the center of this island. Tons of electrical boxes that were out here. I think there was like 38 electrical boxes that were just smashed to bits. I don't know why there were so many of them out here, but we pulled a lot of electrical out of here. We got the grass seed down and it's really looking nice. I mean, if you look around now, it's pretty clean. Let's go over here, I'll show you a full view. So in comparison to what it used to be, I mean, there's obviously some yard work to do. We haven't mowed the grass yet because we planted a bunch of seed and we wanted to give it a chance to grow before we came out here and started running the mower over it. But there's some little tiny roots and stuff sticking out that we still have to take care of. The mower should chop those down. We got some really good grass from our Braley and Knoxon Ace Hardware store up here. The next big thing, now that we've gotten all those dead, nasty trees out, like I'll show you right along here, we have some weeds popping up and some other issues, but they're not as bad as they were. Next thing we have to do is come out here and fix these wobbly posts. We've got to close up some electrical boxes that we have access to. We're gonna check out these curb edges, see if we can repair any of them. Over here, we need to put something up here. I think the gutters are just plugged up because there used to be a couple really big trees that were right here. You can see there's a couple of stumps left. Out of all the stumps, I think we pulled 194 of 196 stumps. There's two left that, or no, there's three left that we didn't get to. They were just kind of embedded really deeply, and we didn't want to hurt the concrete or rip up the asphalt with the roots, so we just kind of left them where they were. This bush right here is going to get trimmed back real nice. This whole edge right here, this patio that's out here, we have like a slope right here now. Beforehand, the dirt went straight back and there was just cedar bushes all along this. And you could see the 7 different layers of this deck that they had put on over the years. It was all exposed. So all the dirt that we pulled off over here when we leveled the ground, because before it was a hump over here in between the street and the sidewalk, or a parking lot and the sidewalk rather. It was a big hump, and we took all the extra dirt, we put it all along here in the edge, so it's hiding all the stucco. The stucco seam on the bottom of the ground over here was all exposed from years of water just washing out all the dirt and sending it right down that way. But it's all covered up now. It looks a heck of a lot better, and there's still embedded sprinkler heads that are sticking out. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I'm probably going to have to come out here and cut them all out. There's just so many of them. This is the last space out front that we have to take care of. This stump, we had the excavator out here and we were trying to rip on this thing, but I dug probably 2 feet around this whole thing, about 20 inches deep, and we couldn't get it out of there. It's in there deep. There was 1, 2, 3, 4 trees that were sitting out here that we cut down. And overall, I'd say the curb appeal is a heck of a lot better. Oh, and this thing right here was some stupid designed little jut out section at the end of our parking lot, and it was lined with these bricks, these big marble or whatever they are bricks, and it looked horrible. So obviously things are a little overgrown at the moment, and there's still some work to be done. We got to rake out a lot of this, but compared to the cost, I think it was like a $28,000 job to come out here and do all this if we hired a company to, cut all the trees, remove all the brush, trim all these bushes out, remove all the electrical, cut down all the stuff that was in the way. It would have cost us so much money, and I think we did this whole thing for right around $3,500, and that's including the cost of rental for the excavator and all that. So we're making some progress. Next big thing that we have to focus on, when you come outside here and you start looking around, you start spotting these stupid little issues. And you see this light right here. I had my maintenance repair guy pull one of these off because they mounted these things improperly. They used a shallow box, and it's just the plastic siding on the outside here. So like this one, for example, if I walk up and grab it, the whole thing is just loose and wiggling around. And there's about 50 of these lights that go around the whole building, and they're all floppy and loose. So we're gonna have to go through and replace every single one of the mounting systems, and then you just put a deeper box in it, make it more solid, and then put the little fascia plate back over it. But we're getting there, slowly but surely. Well guys, over the next 10 days or so, we have a ton more work that we have to do. We're gonna be out here working on this tennis court. We're gonna pressure wash that whole thing off. We're gonna get our sodium bulbs replaced that are in the big lights up top here. We have a whole case of them that showed up, and my God, those things were not cheap. I thought they were gonna be way cheaper than they were. Lots of other stuff we're gonna keep knocking out. We're gonna plant grass out here, get rid of this weird fountain thing that was put there. We have to paint these picnic tables because they're orange and they look horrible. Who the heck ordered orange picnic tables? Not sure. I got a grill I gotta get rid of. Lots of work to do in the hot tub, lots of work to do in the pool still, but we are making headway. Hopefully you guys have found some of this stuff interesting. I know it's not car content, but it is transformation of an old building nonetheless. We have tons of little jobs left to do. We've knocked out some of the big ones. Our big focus right now is getting that pool figured out and getting that thing opened up, because so many guests that come up here want to use it, and you know, I'd like to jump in there too. Hey guys, thanks for following along with this one. It was kind of different from what I normally upload, but anyways, we've been doing lots and lots of work up here. This is a massive property. I mean, you guys just saw, we walked all the way around this thing. There's so much to do inside, outside, and we're just knocking out projects left and right. So if you enjoyed this one, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more, and we'll see you guys again very, very soon. Take care.
Yeah.